right, good morning, everybody. Appreciate you being on. We'll let Coach Mason make a few comments, then we'll open it up for your questions. Coach?
So glad to be on. Hope everybody's doing well. I know we're in the midst of COVID, and I know we're all getting better in this process. Hopefully, everybody's had a chance to get vaccinated. I know we're all moving in that direction. I was just talking to Bobo, and Bobo told me to make sure that I don't use any Vanderbilt or Stanford words. And I said, Bobo, don't worry about it. You'll be all right, buddy. But it's good to see everybody. Again, man, it's been a fast and furious last couple of months, and we've been at it. Whether you talk about recruiting, whether you talk about football, whether you talk about spending time with our guys, that's a greater part of what we do here. Is make sure we can help our guys get from where they are to where they want to be. It's been fun. Right now, a couple of days into spring ball, heading into practice number 4, getting ready for a fast and furious practice as we get ready to hit a little bit, do a little red zone goal line, so that'll be fun today. But with that, I'll turn it over for questions and see what we can talk about today. So with that being said, the floor is yours.
All right, Coach, thank you. Our first question will be from Jason Caldwell. When you ask the question, if y'all could just put your affiliation when you ask the question so Coach knows where you're from. Jason?
Jason Caldwell, inside Auburn Tigers, 247 Network. Coach, just your thoughts on 3-4-4-3. I know you're going to be versatile, but how helpful is it that you come into a defensive front group that has some versatility with guys like Colby Woods, like Kevis Walker, some of those guys? How beneficial is that to implement a defense when you have that versatility?
I think it's great when you can have an opportunity to step into a place like Auburn and look and see exactly what they have been available to you. I think it's always about players, right? So when we talk about in football, how do you put guys in the best possible position to permeate some success? And coming in, we've got all different types. We've got big guys, man. We've got long guys. So like for me, it's a nice smorgasbord of players, man, who have different skill sets. Like to be able to see, Stone Handy, who can be a 4 technique, but who can also slide to an end. Like to see, Wooten as he can play inside backer, but he can also play, outside backer and walk in space. And I can say the same thing about, Zacoby. I can say the same thing, about Owen. I think the versatility of the front 7, okay, is going to be huge for us, just in terms of speed, size, athleticism, and trying to create one-on-one matchups. So, like for me right now, I'm like a kid at the candy shop.
Mark Murphy?
Yes, inside the Auburn Tigers also in 24/7 Sports. Coach, how important is it to have a good spring this year, considering, number one, the players didn't go through spring at all last year, and their preseason was sort of messed up also, and it's an entirely new coaching staff they're working with on defense, plus they're learning a new system.
Yeah, Mike, I think it's extremely important for these guys to really, settle into where we're at. But it's about coaches meeting these guys where they are, and I think that started when we got here. Just like in what we did in our morning conditioning sessions and what we were able to do, like with our fundamental movement pieces. I think for our guys just needed to get used to the language. I think it starts with language, okay, like in expectations of in position play. And I think once we got to the grass, I think what we started to see, after several days of spending time with these guys, was that these guys started to understand, exactly what we were talking about. So I think it starts with the language barrier, a little bit, what they call things, what we're calling things now. And then once you get past the language barrier, I think football, is really a universal language. I think for our guys have been receptive to some of the new terminology, just trying to simplify, in things where we can, but really trying to take some of what they've done and add it to what we do. There's no use in reinventing the wheel as a coach. Okay, man, if it's a slant technique, let's call it a slant technique. If it's easier for them to remember, again, that's the part as a coach where you got to meet guys where they are so that, we can get to a faster and greater understanding of how we want something played. That's been fun. The guys have been receptive, and I've kidded them a little bit about some of the things that we've implemented, and they've chided me a little bit. So it's been fun. We've gone back and forth, but they do understand the expectation.
Pascal.
Hey, Derek. David Pascal with the Chattanooga Times Free Press. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Want to know just what this has been like for you personally. Obviously,
Yeah.
you had 7 years at Vanderbilt, and that's
Right.
obviously a challenging place, but you did some good things with multiple bowls and 3 straight wins over Tennessee. Just adjusting back to being a defensive coordinator, what kind of challenge has that been, and what's the biggest difference?
You know, David, it's fun for me. I'm a soldier. I can lead, man, but I can also follow. And I think, you know, like those are the important things I think Coach Harsin was looking for as he put together this staff. You know, guys with experience, guys who understand, you know, man, how to get things done the way he wants it done. And that's important. Coach Harsin is the tip of the spear. So for me, it's been great just to, you know, focus on the ball, focus on the recruiting, focus on, you know, development of players. And what does that look like? And then just talking about the relationships. I think I'm a relationship, you know, coach. I mean, everybody likes to say that they are, man, but I spend a lot of time, you know, like with these guys, you know, man, getting to know their stories. You know, once you understand the why and you can establish trust, the opportunity, you know, to grow fast, okay, and grow quickly is what's needed for us right now. I mean, we're in the midst of spring ball, still during the pandemic. So with that being said, you know, I mean, our meetings look different. Okay, man, they're not like the meetings of old. I mean, you're still in this idea of okay, and I'm going to send you information. We're going to talk about some things. I'm going to trust at the end of the day that you're going to be able to take this information, look at it, and if you have questions, bring those questions to the classroom. And I think these guys have done a terrific job of being able to, you know, be trusted with the information that they're given and have questions when they step into our meetings. And I think that trust is reciprocal. I mean, it takes time on both sides, but I think we've gotten to it pretty fast.
Thanks.
You got it.
Philip Marshall. Philip.
Sorry about that. Philip Marshall, Auburn 247 Sports. Along those same lines, what do you kind of learn as a head coach that might make you a better coordinator, having been through the ups and downs of being a head coach as well?
Yeah, Mr. Marshall, I think it's a great question. I mean, like for me, during my time at Vanderbilt, I really had a chance to do both. I was head coach, but then I had to come back and call plays for a couple of years. And you know, in that time, what you realize is that, you know, from the technology standpoint, being able to utilize like the tools that are available to you nowadays, you know, the information that we, you know, get to young men has changed over the last 10 years. You know, it used to be, you know, videotape. They used to come over to your office. It used to give them a DVD. Nowadays, okay, man, it's about, you know, PowerPoint presentations and overlays and everything else, you know, under the sun. So I think the ability to, you know, streamline, you know, like the information for your guys, but also, you know, teaching tools, okay, man, because we have different types of learners. We have kinesthetic learners, auditory learners. We've got guys, man, who need to see it, touch it, feel it. And so with that being said, I think for me, just being able to make sure I can utilize the time. Time is an unrenewable resource in this deal. So, man, I understood that as a head coach, but now, you know, coming back as a coordinator, man, you got to value the time. Value your time, value their time, and make all the time count.
Thanks.
You got it.
Jordan Hill.
Hey, Derek, Jordan Hill with the Black Auburn News. I had a question just about your relationship with Coach Harsin. He sort of talked about, you know, your families that had, you know, gone on vacation before.
Right.
You know, how did that relationship come about? And when you were looking at opportunities, what made the Auburn one, you know, the one for you?
Well, you know, looking at opportunities, I think that for me, I thought I was going back to the NFL. Like, to be honest, I didn't think I was going to take a college job. I felt like for me, maybe I needed a break from the college game, like just a little bit. You know, after 7 years at Vanderbilt, and have been contacted by several, you know, college teams about, you know, their opportunities. But when Coach Harsin called, we had a prior relationship. I mean, I've known Coach Harsin for years, and for us to have gone on Nike trips and, you know, Kess and my wife Leanne to have spent time together. I mean, we've got children that are around the same age. You know, a couple that have, you know, similar stories just in terms of you know, like dealing with growing up. You know, like as a coach's child. I think for us, man, there was just so many things that we connected on. Some of those ideas were philosophical. Some of those ideas were just about life and ball and how we see family. And so when we had an opportunity, like to talk, the conversation was very much to the point about, his vision for Auburn, and that vision was set in stone. It was very strategic. I mean, it had all the makings of what I thought, a good leader, should talk about coming into a situation like this, which I thought was unique. And for him to get me to come up here on my way home, because believe me, man, I was on my way back home. He got me to come through here. We sat down for a couple of hours, had a chance to talk ball, man. But it was more how we connected on, like the ideologies of how he wanted to run the program and what he wanted and what he needed from me. And so, like with that being said, I talked to my wife. It was a quick turnaround, and I found myself really loving this place from the time that I touched down. I drove into the city. I didn't know what to expect. They called it the Plains. I got here and I found, a terrific city, really nice, community, but like a university that has a lot to sell. Okay, when you talk about the student-athlete experience. So, from the city to the, university experience to what Coach Harsh is bringing, all that seemed to fit for me. So it was an easy decision. I feel good about, where we are right now. And, believe me, I would have made this decision 10 out of 10 times. Auburn's the place for me, War Eagle.
Bill Cameron?
Hey, Coach, Bill Cameron, ESPN 106.7 The Drive here in town. You talk about the front seven. Talk about the back end. It appears you have a good bit of talent and flexibility back there as well.
Yeah, Mr. Cameron. I look at where we are right now. Smoke Monday is going to lead this group. There's no doubt about that. But I've seen LT, we call him Tennyson, show up, and he's been phenomenal back there. In the first three practices in terms of how him and Smoke have worked together in terms of their ability to communicate. On the corners, I think we've got really good players. Like Roger, I think is a tremendous talent. I think he has the ability to play on Sunday. But what I want right now is for this young man to show up big, on Saturdays, and so that's what we're working on. We're working on his ability to play, from different platforms, and I'm seeing the same thing from Simpson, as well. I mean, tremendously talented. He's got great short area quickness, good long speed. And then Nehemiah Pritchard right now is starting at the nickel position. And so everybody's battling. There's a lot of competition back there on the back end. The safety group has got to continue to communicate. But like I said, Smoke has played a lot of football. So everybody around him is sort of looking for him to make the communication go and work. And I've asked Smoke to step back a little bit and let these guys, speak. Because when everybody communicates, we all get better. And he's going to need this group to play with him, okay, and not watch him, as we start to play. So I think the corners, at the corner position, we have depth. And I think at the safety position, we need more experience. And so, these guys are getting valuable experience in spring ball. And then the nickel position between LT, Nehemiah, and then when we get Xavier or Zion Puckett back, I think this group is going to be, pretty formidable. But what we got to do is take it one day at a time.
Gentry Estes?
Yeah, hey, Derek. Looking back now, how do you kind of view your experience and accomplishments at Vanderbilt? I mean, what was the disappointment level like to not get the chance to finish what you started there?
Growth is optional, change is inevitable. That's part of the process. So I knew that. I've known that for 28 years. I've always looked at the opportunity to take on the day or try to dominate a day as being just that. Okay, you never coach on a 10-year contract or 3-year contract. I mean, it's every week, every day. And so, in looking back, I graduated in student athletes at a high level, developed guys at a high level. And several young men had an opportunity to get their degree from Vanderbilt, play in the NFL. For those who met that standard, and for me, I tried to do it with class, integrity, and again, we had academic excellence, at that place. And so with that being said, that'll be part of the legacy. And we had wins, we had, big games against our rivals, and, we were able to do some things like in my time there. So now, there's a new captain at the helm. I wish him all the best. And, here at Auburn, and I look forward to, what the future holds for this coaching staff and these players, because I think we got a good football team.
Jay Tate?
Hey, Coach, Jake Tate from AuburnSports.com, part of the Rivals.com network. My question is about up front. It seemed like you had a long history of doing well with two-gapping up front a lot. I know you're going to be more multiple now just because college football is changing, but do you still feel two-gapping up front is really important to what a good defense does?
I think it's all important. I mean, I think it's a great question, man, but I think it's all important. I think the ability to and be able to play like the singles, I think it's what you have to do. We're going to jet, but there's also going to be some opportunity to two-gap. We're going to be in 3 down front, 4 down front, five down front, and all of it's got to be physical. All of it's got to be physical. So, what you talk about is reestablishing the line of scrimmage because it's a line of scrimmage game. Okay, in this conference, if you can't reestablish the line of scrimmage, you've got no chance. So that's part of what Coach Eason, Coach Smeding, Coach Watts are talking about now. And I think what's good about where we sit is that with Coach Smeding and Coach Watts, I've got 2 former defensive coordinators. So when we get in the room, we lab it up now. Okay, it's like getting into a chemistry lab and let's talk about, man, exactly how we want to attack, in the line of scrimmage. Like, what do we need to do? Okay, what, from leverage to techniques to where we place our eyes, and then we bring the poobah, the grand poobah, Nick Eason, into it and try to let Nick, move us around a little bit just in terms of what we want, to do with some stemming and the ability to move the front so we can create vertical seams and not just stay in the same place, all the time. So I like where we're at right now. A lot of things happening, a lot of teaching going on, but really for our guys, I think these guys are getting better every day, and that's what we want.
Thank you.
You got it.
Nathan King?
Hey, Derek, Nathan King from Auburn 24/7 Sports. Kind of on that same note, I know it's early, but what have you seen out of a guy like Jeremiah Wright, moved over from the offensive line? What have you seen from him that's allowed him to be successful? Obviously, we saw on Saturday working with the starters. What have you seen from him so far?
Jeremiah's a talented dude. He loves ball, and I think for him, he feels natural on the defensive side of the ball. What I've seen, great pad level, strong at the point of attack. Him and Truesdale have been going at it, so that's what you want to see. Him coming over to the defensive side of the ball has made the interior position a little more competitive in terms of what we're doing and his ability to transition from run to pass is something that we're looking forward to. Again, you like the ability to stop the run, but you also want somebody that can go from run to pass, fast. I mean, it's not always going to be run. It's not always going to be pass. So to have, somebody who has the ability to hold up against the run, take on the double team, jet the A gap, and be quick as a 3 technique, but then also transition, from run to pass is something that I think Jeremiah brings to the table. So he's getting better every time he hits the grass. Coach Eason, loves, his temperament. He's a work hard work guy. So right now, that's where he sits. He's going to stay in that mode until we get through these 15 practices, and then we'll get a chance to evaluate where he is. But right now, I love where he's going.
Gianna Hahn?
Hi, Gianna Hunt from AOL.com. We were talking to Owen Capo the other day, and he was saying that the linebacker group is kind of thinking themselves, using the motivation that they're the heart of this defense. So what have you seen from that position group, and especially from those 2 guys, because last year they had to play almost every single snap. So how are you seeing them return, and what are they adding to this defense from what you've seen?
Gianna, when you look at the linebacker group, as a whole, I think it's probably, our deepest group. There's depth. Obviously, Owen and Zacoby played a tremendous amount of snaps. We're taking some snaps, off of these guys, but these guys right now, collectively as a group, they're fast, they're sudden, they get it, they're physical. They're probably the most communicative group right now. in terms of just being able to talk about what they see. I think they've bought into what Coach Smetting is selling. I think for these guys, they've enjoyed the ability to do multiple things like in this defense. And what we're going to try to do, man, is find the one-on-one matchups. We're gonna let them run and hit like when they need to run and hit, but we're also going to make sure that they have a chance to rush the passer. So this linebacker group is going to be a versatile group. You're going to see a lot of guys playing, and hopefully what we're able to do is put these guys in multiple positions so that at times they're going to be running downhill, they're going to be dropping, and they're also going to be in coverage. So nowadays with all the spread offenses, man, you got to be a multiple position player. And these guys, this group right now is probably the most diverse group on our football team in terms of defensive unit structure.
All right, we got time for a few more questions. First one's Justin Ferguson.
Justin Ferguson, the Auburn Observer. Derek, edge guys in your defense. What do you think of them so far? What you've seen out of them, and what all do you ask those guys to do in kind of the way you want to play your defense?
Yeah, Justin. Again, for us, as we've had a chance to put these guys on the grass, you've seen our edge guys walk in space. You've seen our edge guys, rush off the edge, and they've got to be able to play the run. So I think, as an edge guy in this defense, you better be ready to drop. You better be ready to match. You got to be able to go from run to pass in terms of pass rush ability, and I think these guys like it. They play right and left, so they're never going to be in the same spot, like more than like 2 consecutive plays. So with that being said, it makes them smarter. They're much more versatile in terms of what's being asked of them. But by the same token, they like showing their skill sets. That's one thing about these guys. Everybody wants to do everything. And I told them, as long as you give us the effort, in terms of what we're doing, I don't care about the mistakes right now. We're going to make mistakes. Football is not a perfect game, and we're going to make our mistakes. But let's make sure we make them fast. Let's make them physical. And I think that's the mantra of the outside group right now. Wreck anything that I see. Run, pass, man, it doesn't matter. If it's moving, I'm going to hit it. So let's go.
Brian Matthews.
Hi, Derek. How you doing? Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, part of the Rivals Network. I just wanted to ask you about the secondary. You got 4 quarterbacks coming back with starting experience. You brought in the Haddon kid, a junior college player, and then you got the Miller kid from West Virginia coming in. That's 6 quarterbacks that could potentially be starters in some programs. How do you get all those guys on the field?
Well, in this conference, as you know, it's not like you're going to be facing 21 personnel. Okay, you face 11 personnel, sometimes even 10 personnel, depending on who you play. So, like for us, the ability to have guys with position flex, because when you start talking about 6 corners, some of those guys can play nickel as well. So when you slide those guys inside, what's a nickel? A nickel is either a safety man who's got run pass flexibility, or a corner who can guard inside and show up in the run game. So I think having the depth at corner, allows us to move some pieces around to make sure that we get best players on the field and that we build depth when you talk about coverage. In this defense, man, you're going to have to be able to cover. So whether we're playing zone or man, it doesn't matter. You want guys with length, speed, athleticism, and I think that's what we have right now. Zach Etheridge is doing a terrific job, of having these guys understand what the expectation is from practice to practice. And with everybody learning at the same time, everybody's in the same boat. So, everybody's got the same opportunity to get better every day. So that's really what we're seeing right now. It's pretty competitive. Damio is not with us right now. He should be back second half of spring. He's working through an injury. So with that being said, I look forward to getting him back. And when Drayshawn gets here this summer, you'll have all the full secondary or the full gamut of corners at our disposal. So we'll be able to move those guys around and slot, some of those guys inside so they can play some nickel.
Bill Cameron.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned most of them, but it's obviously been a time where you're getting to know the rest of your defensive staff as well. Just talk about the relationships that you may have had with some of these guys, and I'm sure some of them you're still getting to know them, but it sounds like things are going pretty well.
Yeah, it's going well. Zach and I work together, and so Zach coaches the corners, but I identify him as a secondary coach. I don't want to put him as just a corners coach. Zach is a bright and brilliant young coach, but his energy, his ability to understand the game is far beyond his years. I mean, he's a great X and O guy, but guys believe in him. He understands Auburn. He played here, and he understands what this place can be. And so with that, it's been good to get his take on how he sees our group. Okay, man, what are we about and where do we need to go? Jeff Schmedding, again, was the defense coordinator at Boise, and so like me and Jeff, understand each other from the idea that he's coached safeties, he's coached backers, he understands the front seven, but he also understands back end schemes. So, like for us, again, we're like two scientists in the lab. We always get at one another, and we find ways to try to make it simple, try to make it better, but really just try to make it relatable for our guys. And I think our relationship is really good. Burt Watts, Burt came from Memphis, and played at Cal. And I've known Burt for some years. Tremendous coach. Smart, understands special teams coordinator, but having been a defense coordinator, he brings, a lot of football intelligence, like to what we're doing. He's seen, what it looks like in spread, as well as some of the midline and edge attacks that we're going to see from offenses. So I like his experience. And then Nick Eason, me and Nick were together for a little bit, at Vandy, but I spent a lot of time with him when he was at the Titans. He was under Dick LeBeau. Again, you talk about 3-4 structure, his understanding of how to coach these guys, how to teach these guys, exactly what we're looking for in terms of the physicality, but also some of the finesse pieces that show up in some of the technical aspects of what they're going to be asked to do. So Nick is a consummate pro, terrific teacher, and I think that's the theme of this group. Not only are they experienced coaches, but they're great teachers. Who can get to these guys real fast and make it, relatable, learnable, and likable. And I think that's our group. That's where we sit defensively. Smart group, great group, and I'm actually the fallback in the group, man. A lot of smart guys in the room, and I listen to their ideas and we run with it.
Coach, we're going to take one more. Mark Murphy.
You got it.
How valuable is your experience in the SEC going to be as you guys get ready to prepare for the season? Because you're probably the one who's been in the league the most as a coach.
Yeah, Mark. I think in understanding these teams, the guys that we play against, having gone against most of the West, I think I've got a pretty good understanding of what the league looks like. And I've been in rooms with those head coaches. I've seen most of these guys, on film, and had a chance to go against most of these guys in person. And so, looking at schemes, evaluating, coaching staffs, and looking at their experience as well as their rosters, I think will be helpful. We're gonna cut to the chase. I don't think guys have to wonder, who we're going against. I think I know who we're going against, and so now what it's about is assessing our own talent. Putting us, in the best possible position for Auburn to go fast, because we've got 7 or 8 months, to get this thing going and get it going fast. And so we've cut to the chase. The chase is about recruiting, and developing your own guys. That's what we got to do. That's where we are. Even in the midst of spring ball, every day is about recruiting. So we're hitting it, extremely hard, and I think that's sort of been where it's taken a little bit of time for us to, figure out, exactly, who we are. Coach knows who we are. Everybody just getting on the same page, and now, going real fast. So that's where we're at. I look forward to seeing you guys at A-Day. And if we don't get a chance to talk to you, like before that, but excited to be at Auburn, excited to be on the Plains, and excited to be coaching this defense.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
You got it. Take care.